you talk about Springer. He's a guy that's going to be, obviously he plays center field, but he's going to be at the center now of this Jays team. When you talk about all of their young stars, you talk about Vlad Guerrero Jr., Kevin Biggio, Bo Bichette, Randall Grichuk's there too. They got, murderers row their lineup. And when you look at this Blue Jays roster, you're starting to think, okay, this team could maybe compete with that AL East, which is just a great division, and it adds now. You got three really, really solid teams. And, talking locally with the Yankees, I know they add Corey Kluber, but they haven't made a huge signing. And to me, should the Yankees, should they start to worry about what they're doing? And now you have the Rays, they're a team that's up and coming. And I know they got rid of Blake Snell, but I feel like the Rays, they don't operate like they need one big star. They're a team that's definitely, they're more the sum as a whole of its parts. And, you don't need that big ace. And to me, I don't think they do. And now you have a Blue Jays team who's young and they're willing to spend a lot of money and they're going to be really competitive. And now you have the Yankees who I know they're kind of feeling like they're the confident big boys on the block. But again, you can see where these two young teams can definitely compete with the Yankees in that division.
Yeah, the Rays are the only team in the AL East that have gotten better so far. The Yankees add Corey Kluber. I think that's a good signing, but they lose Jay Happ. He signs Minnesota. That's pretty much a wash in my book. And right now, the Yankees pitching staff, there are just too many question marks for me outside of Garrett Cole. You've got a guy past his prime in Corey Kluber. You've got two guys that have had extended absences from baseball in who are the two guys? Herman and Severino. And then you're putting a lot of stock into Jordan Montgomery and Devi Garcia, who I know has a ton of potential, but that's a lot of pressure to put on a young player. And with who's still on the market, I don't know who is the fit for this Yankees team that certainly isn't signing Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, I think I'd be a little stressed if I was a Yankees fan. I think that the Blue Jays have really tilted the power balances there a little bit. I don't think I see the Rays being all that good this year. I know that you guys don't have a lot of problems with them, but they got rid of Blake Snell, Charlie Morton. They missed out on Joe Musgrove, Corey Kluber. I don't know. I think that they've lost a lot of talent, actually. And so I think that if I was a Blue Jays fan, I'd be feeling pretty confident about my chances in the American League. I think that the Yankees have not done much to change up the status quo. Like you said, they're pretty mellow right now. I don't really see the Red Sox and the Orioles doing anything too big. And so, sorry, Jack, but I don't.
It's okay.
And I think that the Rays, even though they operate differently and they are a smaller market team, and they do different things, I still think that the Blue Jays are the favorite right now. I think that with their recent acquisitions, they're building a really strong name.
No, yeah. And then you talk about going further. Kirby Yates, a great bullpen guy, and they're going to keep adding. They're right in the middle of maybe getting Brad Hand. They're very interested in him, so he's another guy that they can possibly get. And if they keep building a good team, I could definitely see them being right in the midst of that race. To me, the Yankees, the guy that they're missing in the rotation is Masahiro Tanaka, and the Yankees just don't want to pay him. Why are the big bad Yankees all of a sudden not want to pay a guy that's been, it's not like he's just a free agent that's been good with another team. He's really helped them in the postseason. The Yankees know that he's a guy that, they can trust in a big postseason game, which to me is just, it's really questionable. Because if I was a Yankees fan, all of a sudden we're not going to pay Tanaka and we're going to go in with a lot of unproven guys, the guys that have been out of the league for a while. Domingo Germán, he was a guy that was almost retired. And that's something to me that, if I was a Yankees fan, I'd be a little mad. I know they got DJ LeMahieu. I know they got Corey Kluber, who, former All-Star. But, if you feel like you're losing, major ground to a team like the Rays and the Blue Jays, you're like, how is this happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see the Yankees utilizing the trade market. I definitely see them going after a guy like Luis Castillo in Cincinnati, who's kind of seeming like after 1 year of putting all the chips on the table, they're just going to start selling guys. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Yankees did something like that. But until they do, I don't know if they have what it takes to make them, I don't know, even the American League favorite.
Yeah, and I think, like you were saying, Andrew, with Tanaka, I think it's so weird that they haven't signed him. Like, he literally said, I don't know if this is still recent, but he literally said he would either go back to Japan or keep playing with the Yankees. So why wouldn't you just pay him? He's not that expensive. He's not going to take up too much of their budget. He wants to be in New York. He wants to be at your team. He's not a bad pitcher. He's pretty solid. So I don't understand why you wouldn't take someone who wants to be on your team and fills a need that you have.
No, yeah, I mean, to me, I really, it's just like, especially because it's the Yankees. Like, this is something like the Wilpons would do with the Mets. Like, I mean, it is. I mean, like just as a Mets fan, you're like, oh, that's something that, like, I don't know why the luxury tax is such a, I guess it's a really hard cap for the Yankees this year. I mean, I understand they lost money, but you're saying after 1 year, you're all of a sudden like not the big bad Yankees anymore and this big team. I mean, I don't know. To me, that's something that like it shocks me almost that like the Mets are outspending the Yankees, the Blue Jays, who are playing next year in Buffalo, mind you, like they're outspending the Yankees. Like to me, that's something that is going to be really interesting, and especially when you look at really across the American League. I mean, you talk about who's the real powerhouses there. You talk about the Rays, the Yankees. We were talking about the Astros a lot pre-show, like they're another team, but really not that much there. And I don't know, like, especially if you're the Yankees, I feel like why aren't they trying to pounce on this to try to go to a World Series? Because this is kind of their shot. And a lot of people said when they were going after Garrett Cole and they signed him, like, this is the Yankees league, the American League is the Yankees league. And now all of a sudden they're like, gas off, we may not even win our division. Like, to me, that's just super interesting.
Yeah, the Yankees have a lot of work to do. And it's funny because I understand like the whole, there's a huge difference between like an $8 or $9 million guy and like a $15 to $20 million guy. And I feel like that's the disparity, like that's the difference in the talks that they're having with Tanaka right now. But I mean, if you like, I remember the Yankees fans are saying you don't pay for 7 years. You pay that price tag. You pay those years for that prime. And here we are in that prime. This is the time for them to win it. And you're playing hardball over a couple $1 million on a really key impact guy.
Yeah, I have no pity for the Yankees, really, for their spending woes. I mean, I understand that it was a hard offseason, but it was a hard 2020 for a lot of people. So to me, I think that they're being kind of ridiculous. I think a lot of the MLB free agency is being kind of crazy about how little people are willing to spend. I understand the luxury tax. I get that they lost billions of dollars, but you get billions of dollars every year. What were you doing? You never were saving? Like, I don't know. I just don't think that makes any sense that suddenly they have one bad year and now they can't afford anything. They don't want to make any trades. They have to be super cautious. I mean, like you said, they're the New York Yankees. So if the Yankees are going to be cutting corners for budgets, then I think that there's something wrong with that. I think that is very out of context and weird.